December 14th. It's been raining for 14 hours straight now. It's a little wet even by our standards.
Alright, it wasn't the brightest idea we ever had, to hike here in the Columbia Gorge with rain coming down an inch an hour. Come to think of it, it was plain stupid.
It's a pretty ugly day. Even if you rappelled down to the one spot down there that you could land, you wouldn't be able to see anything. So how do you get set up to get back out? This is intense. That's a lot of water.
Yep, you heard right. Matt Bannon and his friends were going to rappel into that, on purpose, then travel downstream to do some exploring. It's called Canyoneering, and we said it'd make a great story. Of course, that was back in the summer. We decided to meet in December when there'd be more water. And, well, here we were.
I'm thinking today we're just going to kind of hike around and hike back out. I'm not going in there. That scares me just to look at it.
There is a point when you're so wet it just doesn't matter anymore. We reached that point the moment we stepped out of the car.
I feel like if you want to call yourself an outdoor enthusiast, you got to be miserable at least once a year. So this is my shot.
We were saying maybe 30 to 50% of our trips end up just being scouting trips. Yeah. Oh well, we're used to it.
All we could do now was dry out and wait. But by August, we were either brave enough or dumb enough to try again. So we set out for yet another secret stash of waterfalls.
Well, we know it's a river, and we know it's a slot canyon, and we know that there's 7 waterfalls that we're going to be going through today. And other than that, we don't know a whole lot.
It's in Matt and Mike's DNA to find adventure simply by following a trail as far as it'll go and making up the rest. They do have a knack, though, for finding hidden gems. We came ready to follow wherever they led.
As you think the trails go to all the best stuff, and they do go to some good stuff, but it's amazing how much has no trail to it.
I'm going to go right up here and see what we got first.
I'm sick of all this beauty. All the pretty water. Tired of it all.
Matt's sarcasm aside, it seemed we found not just a pretty place, but the right place to begin our canyoneering adventure. There was no obvious way up, but Mike had a plan.
The camera crew would come down here, and then we would wrap down the second falls. And there's a really good vantage point in there to video as we're coming over that fall.
That moppy-headed guy with a concerned look, that's Michael Bendixson, one of our field guide videographers. He'd have to do everything Matt and Mike do, but with his camera rolling. No easy feat.
Okay. So you video down.
Yeah, and then I'd like you to stop, and then I'll wrap down.
Obviously not one of our easier stories to pull off. We have to figure out routes and shooting angles and do more than our share of bushwhacking.
Looks awesome. This is it. This is destination.
From here, it'd be all downhill. But for Michael, who'd been with Field Guide just a few months, this was also an initiation of sorts.
I'm just gonna be going down there in a second, so I need to protect myself, but I need to protect some expensive gear too. So kind of steep.
We're gonna throw kind of 2 ends of the rope down, and it's called a double rope rappel. And then when we get down to the bottom, we'll end up pulling one end of the rope and pull it down behind us. So once we do this, we're pretty much committed to the canyon. This is the start of the trip, and off we go. Rope.
Crazy. You can't hear anything. All you can see is kind of what's right in front of you. Yeah, you're kind of in your own little world right at that moment.
Nice job, Matt!
Oh, geez.
It's just a hoot to get wet and feeling the force of the water on your shoulders, on your head. You don't have to, but what the heck? You're here. Enjoy it.
When I told my coworkers what I was doing today, one of them asked if I was going to be bringing my wife and kids along today. And that's when I knew that they don't get it. And then when you get back to work on Monday, they ask, how was your hike? Well, a little more than a hike, but it was good.
We're down now. Nice job. Woo! Go ahead and pull the rope.
You pull your rope, and there can be times when you wish you hadn't, but you did, so you find a way.
Oh, Charlie, wait!
The best way out now, the only way really, was downriver.
With the canyon, of course, your route is a river, but you don't know what's around the next corner. You have absolutely no idea, and so you don't know if you've got a short drop or a big drop. And you're going to rig it off of a rock, or you're going to make your anchor off of a tree. So there's just a lot more dynamic.
When it's not pouring rain and cold, the damp confines of hidden slot canyons like this are undeniably seductive. For our photographers, Todd Sonfleet, working here just inches from a 100-foot drop, as well as Michael, capturing this place proved challenging, to say the least.
It's always tough because you got to know exactly where to be before you get in there. And there's just tons of water spraying on my face and on the lens. You should get close. I mean, show what it's like for bird's eye view, you know, what it's like for their view. So that's kind of our goal, I think. Definitely. Got to get close.
It's a little slippery. It's just hard work to get here, I think. I don't think a lot of people like to work hard. You know, you have to hike up these crazy trails, bushwhack, set up rope work. I don't mind a little bit of hard work to have a little bit of fun.
Most hikers have a goal in mind, a viewpoint, a hot spring, a meadow. On this trip, the goal was this, a 100-foot high masterpiece of water. The lure of getting into that waterfall keeps these guys feeling, for lack of a better word, alive, even as they risk death.
It's pretty safe, but when you're on a rope, if something does go wrong, the consequences are drastic. You know, there is no middle ground. You're either fine or you're dead.
This waterfall was high even by Matt and Mike's standards, a bit hairy even. At the same time, it embodied the dance between danger and beauty that is canyoneering.
I'm not showing this to my mom, I can tell you that. That's probably seriously one of the nicest rappels we've done in a canyon. It's just perfect. It's a vertical face and the water is great, and I just want to go right back up there and do it again. It brings a big smile to my face.
For Michael, getting down this one was brutal. Not because it was difficult, which it was, but because his camera stopped working.
It was just so beautiful coming down. I saw these shots as I was coming down, and I didn't have my tool, so couldn't get what I wanted to get. You know, that's one of those times when you want it to be ugly, because fired up.
Everyone here endured a lot to get to this point, to this beautiful pool at the base of a beautiful waterfall and a beautiful piece of forest. A few missed close-ups wouldn't matter. We'd seen plenty. Though Matt, an accountant by day, was counting the days till he could do it all over again.
I do taxes. I need this. Yeah, I do. I need to get out sometimes and suffer. I think you have a different outlook on life when you're sitting in your office, you're doing paperwork or whatever, and you know that you've been somewhere and done something that no one else in the office has done or even understands. I like that. I like knowing I've been places like this.